Hello, Kubrick Lover 1972 here with another video for the 31 Days of Halloween, also known as Brian, as my real name is, um, you know, alias Kubrick Lover 1972. Anyways, so now it's day 14 of the marathon of this month. I was as I well, like I was saying last night, I thought I would watch three films off of Mubi, and I got up late, and then I wanted to go. I had to go to the grocery store to buy some stuff, before I didn't have a chance to, and then I ate out, and um, by the time I got back, I didn't think it was realistic for me to watch three films, in this particular time period. I might have to do that tomorrow, like watch. I'm gonna miss one of the films, but I had three films planned. One of them expires tonight at 3 a.m. and it's 1:43 right now, so there's no way I can watch that film in the time limit right now because it's over 2 hours long. This movie, it's a Japanese movie by Shohei Imamura. I would love to watch it, but I don't know. Sometimes things happen, and then day two, not day two, I'm sorry, film number two from Mubi that I want to watch expires on Tuesday at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, and it's from two countries, an African country, I think, is it Mali? Oh no, it's Tunisia, and some other country, maybe it's France, I don't know. I really want to watch that, but also there's really one I really want to watch too, which is Japanese, another Japanese movie, which is called Eros Plus Massacre. I think it came out in '69, maybe, and it's almost 3 hours long. So tomorrow or Tuesday, I don't know if I'll watch it on Wednesday because that one expires on Wednesday at 3 a.m. Eastern time. But I'd like to watch it at some point. So tomorrow, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, I might not be on YouTube for that day because I'll be doubling up on movie films. I'll be watching one of the movie films like Eros Plus Massacre, and it will take so long that I won't have time to watch another movie. So I might have to double up on some horror movies like I did. Was it? I think it was yesterday. Anyways, I managed to watch a horror film today, and that film is Pigs. This is a Vinegar Syndrome release. Um, at the start of the film, there was a trauma. What do you call it? A trauma credit, and maybe they distributed it, but and uh, um, I like this film. I think I had a different. Um, I thought it was going to be different than it turned out to be, but I still liked it. It's you have to watch it a little bit to get into it because it's maybe because it was made in the '70s. It's made in '73. On the credits, it's called the 13th Pig. I don't know why it's called the 13th Pig, but according to the Blu-ray title, it says it's Pigs. Um, so this film was restored. I guess it hasn't been seen in 40 years. Um, and I picked this up at a horror convention a few years ago, and I haven't watched it until tonight. And I've been wanting to watch it. It's got some special features here. I don't know if it is a commentary. Anyways, let's get into what the film's about without spoiling it. Um, so at the start of the movie, there's this young woman. She's driving down this desert road I assume it's California, and she has a nurse's uniform on, and she stops at a certain point in the road. She throws the nurse's uniform off, and then she heads down the road, and she finds this restaurant where they're looking for work, and she applies. She gets a job, and we don't know anything about her or where she's come from or anything like that. And the person that she worked for is a guy named Zamprini, I think, who's a circus guy, and he owns this cafe, and in the back are these pigs, and he's been feeding these dead corpses to pigs at the start of the movie. But you don't really see a lot of gore, because that's what I was expecting when I started this movie, which is fine, as long as it's a good movie. It doesn't matter if it's gore or not. It has to stand on its own merits of whether it's a good story, good acting, good other things too help, like good cinematography and good sound. The sound is good. The sound is used very well in this film. It's very constructively used. The cinematography is kind of shaky. It's kind of cheesy, not cheesy, not the greatest cinematography, but I guess that's partially because they were restoring the print, and it was a low-budget movie. I think, was it Wikipedia or was it IMDb? I think the budget for this movie was $100,000 maybe, or $10,000. I think it's $100,000. And so this woman, she's a waitress. She's a waitress to this guy. She goes in the back to see what she wants. She's curious to see what's out in the back, and he tells her, "Don't go back here. Stay in the front. This doesn't concern you." And then so there's this cop that comes into the cafe, and he talks. He stopped by to have some coffee, and then there's these two elderly women that have this house, and they can hear pigs during the night, and they have a hard time sleeping, and but they sense something's up. They sense something's not quite right, and then what happens is she agrees to go out on a date. This young woman agrees to go out on a date with a guy she meets, but things don't turn out right for her, and the sheriff shows up at just the right moment. She gets in the sheriff's Jeep with him, and they leave because this guy probably wants to rape her, basically. So they leave. She goes back to where she's staying, and then she invites the guy that possibly tried to rape her. She invites him to her bedroom. That's it. Inside the cafe. In the back, and she takes the razor that she finds that Zamprini shaves his face with, and she cuts him up with it. And Zamprini takes the body and serves it to the pigs. And then at this point, somebody shows up in a Mustang, and he's a doctor. He's a well, I don't know if I should. He's a doctor of some sort. I'm not going to say exactly what kind of a doctor he is, and because I think they'll clue you in even if I don't say what kind of doctor he is. So and he's looking for her. Her name is Lynn. That's her character's name, and something happens to him, and something that propels the story into another direction. And what we thought was a film about this crazy guy who used to work for the circus, who owns a bunch of pigs. It turns out it's not quite that story. It is that story, but then it goes a little different. Because, for example, like when the young woman kills her date, when they're about to have sex and she kills him, Zamprini takes the body and he feeds it to the pigs, and then there's a scene where he has the cut off hand in the yard and the sheriff and his, maybe it's the deputy, the other guy with the other cop. They're standing outside there, and then he sees the hand, Zamprini. He puts his foot over the hand, and he says, "I haven't seen anything, strange." And they're wondering what's happened to this guy because he's disappeared for a few days. They leave. He throws the Zamprini throws the hand into the pig pen, and the pigs start eating it up. But there's really not that much gore. You don't see really. I mean, you see pigs. You see shots of pigs moving around, but you don't really see any blood. You don't really see that much blood or anything. I thought I would see a lot of gore, but it's more suggested than anything else. But anyways, so the film starts off. We think that the movie is about Zamprini and his feeding of dead bodies to pigs, and some bodies are being removed from the cemetery, and these pigs, after they've eaten human corpses, that they're butchered and then eaten themselves. But turns out there's something else going on here, and it involves someone else in the film that takes the story like in a 180 in another direction and completely changes the story around. So I'll leave it at that. So I'm going to give this film probably. The music score is not bad, by the way. There's a kind of instrument. I know I've heard the name of it, but I can't remember what it's called. It's like you put it in your mouth, and it's like a spring, and you move it up and down. It makes a springy noise, and they have like a rock kind of soundtrack to this film. It's not a bad soundtrack. And and another thing is this main character, Lynn, this young woman, she calls her dad on the phone, and there's something strange about that, calling your dad on the phone, which is not quite what it seems when you watch it, but I won't spoil it. So out of 5 stars, I'll give this film, well, I'll give it, let's see, 3.5 stars, because I like the way, because even though it's kind of slow at the start, it's kind of dull at the, well, is it kind of dull? I don't know. It's not like the greatest film ever made, not even the greatest horror movie, but when it goes further in, it gets much more interesting, and then it really pays off. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. So it's a little better. It's a little close to excellent, but not quite. And it's a little bit better than good. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars out of 5. That's that for the review today. I'm going to put on the screen here before my video ends my blog, where you can see my poetry. I think there's a video on there with some of my poetry, and also I'll check out my GarageBand songs. I'll put up a title there to check it out. So I'm gonna try, maybe, this particular video I'm at 14 minutes. With the introduction, that's 15 minutes. So well, you know what? I'm going on longer than I am. I'm 15 minutes in, but this seems a little bit shorter than the last few reviews, because the last few reviews were like close to 20 minutes. They were like 18 minutes or 17 minutes. Maybe the last, two videos back, it was 16 minutes. So I'm going to get off here. I've talked enough, and maybe tomorrow I'm going to watch Day of the Dead. But also I got to watch those films off of Mubi. My streaming service is one of my movie streaming services. So you may or may not see me tomorrow, because I've got to watch those films before they expire on Mubi. But check me out check my channel out within the next few days, and you'll see if I miss a day, I'll fill that day in. Okay, so thanks for watching. I appreciate all the views. I'd like to watch other people's videos that are doing this 31 days of Halloween, but maybe I'll try and see some of those videos. All right, enough of that for now. Watch some scary films, and I'll see you soon. Bye.